Hello and welcome to Fruitful Marriage. I am interviewing my husband Jacob today,
This is me.
and we will share about our story of how how Jacob brought me back home after infidelity happened in our marriage from both sides, and I ultimately left for another man. We thought this was over. I thought this was over, but Jacob, by the grace of God, managed to bring me back home. And this is what many, many, many people
Mm,
ask us, and what so many of you reach out to us in the DMs
mm,
on Instagram. And we
mm,
thought, okay, we just share what really, really happened behind
mm,
the scenes. So if this is for you today, I hope you get a lot of blessings from this and encouragement and also clarity for what you can do. This is definitely for you if you are either in the middle of chaos and infidelity and adultery, if you guys are still together, or if you have already separated, if your spouse is with somebody else, or if you're together, if you have already separated, this is for you. And also, this is for you if you're not seeking to blame somebody, to blame your spouse, to blame the third party, but really take responsibility on your part, because
mm,
this is what so many people get wrong, is that we get the impression that it's somebody else's fault, or that it's somebody else, it's your spouse who has made a decision and you are the victim to that decision. But we are really here and standing for giving all glory to God, that restoration is possible and that there is a part that you can actually do and take responsibility for, so God can actually do the work through you. So this is what this is going to be about today. And I would say let's start. Are you ready?
mm.
Yeah, great. So I'm super curious. I would love to know, what was the real problem, like what was happening in our marriage, in our
Mm,
relationship, before we already had a daughter, when all of this happened,
mm,
when I left, when we separated.
mm,
What was going on? Would you share with us a little bit on that?
mm. Yeah. Before I go into this question, I want to add something to your introduction. Like we speak on almost every day with people in similar situations, and I'm really impressed of how the people are believing in the covenant. Yeah, when I was doing this, I was not a Christian. Mainly the people who come to us are already Christian, and they are so strengthened in faith. They are sometimes I'm reaching the my capacity of believing in a situation like this for reconciliation. But as we show and a lot of other examples show, it is possible, and especially when you are this person feeling this in this heart, in your heart, that it's not over yet, and you should stick to it. Like I want to encourage, mean it and get the support to also go through it. Yeah, you never meant to do this on your own and do this alone. So what was the problem? And this is also very interesting. You were referring to it. And when I'm speaking with people, I can see that this is a main issue, that the people don't see the whole picture.
Mm.
Like maybe they are strong in faith and they know there's a covenant. Maybe they know what the other person is doing is wrong. Like obviously it's wrong. Yeah. She, like my wife, she hunts for another man or so on and so on. But I was not very holy as well, so I could see that I was also supporting the whole dynamic. And people sometimes tend to, like you said, giving the fault to the other person and
Mm.
pray for them. But you can see, oh, even if you are like in this victim position or like in this disadvantaged position, that you contributed in a main way towards it. So it's not only the devil and the whatever thing. Like you can say, oh yeah, it might have not. When I would not have had this partner, I would have had it in my job with my boss and so on. And this is what I can say. You contributing your part to it, even if it's like you let this happen as a husband, that the wife goes somewhere. And so
Can I add something
uh,
here? And because I said before, we both betrayed each other, so we've both been been really bad, you could say. But it's not even if you maybe you betrayed your wife or your husband before, and then this is the result, them going somewhere else. But even if it's not something as severe as betrayal, and I'm not saying this to downgrade the severeness of betrayal, it's a sin. Like, it is horrible to do that. But, and this is what I see, our God is a God who forgives and restores, and who has so much more love and empathy for restoration than his than being like a correct, or what people tell us sometimes in the Old Testament. This was condemned, and was you were punished with, even with being stoned, if something like this happened, which is another topic we will get into. But really knowing that even if you're just as a husband maybe very weak in your leadership, or as a wife constantly nagging, there is a responsibility you have in a dynamic that shows up like that, in betrayal, in infidelity, in an affair. And it's not, like I say, I'm not playing down your spouse's role, or the one who is betraying. That is sin. But to know there is a part, I want to encourage you, I want to empower you, there is a part that you played in this dynamic that you can take responsibility for.
And to go back to the problem, it was not this one problem. Like, it was a bunch of things which were in disorder because we grew up in this world. Like, a main disorder was like that we never committed to each other fully. We never went under a covenant. We had a lot of esoteric and do what you ever want with
Follow your
whom
heart.
you ever want. Like, this was our religion. That's why this was the result. And I, for myself, I was framed in my youth with pornography and wrong expectations towards women. Of course, this has a big role. The same was for you, and therefore it leads to very, yeah,
Distorted dynamics.
yeah, intimacy, yeah, and in very distorted intimacy. Though you can say, oh, it was sometimes, yeah, okay, distorted intimacy, leave it like that. And a big thing, yeah, where almost entire world struggles with is like what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a father. Yeah. And even if you follow like your biblical counselor, you still might not get it fully. And this is something I explored already before this was happening, but when it was happening, it really got challenged. And this was the only way how I could tackle it, to get integrity towards that, what it means to be a man, a loving father, and a leading man,
So
especially leading
what I
husband.
hear, to maybe bring it also to, like, is it's about roles, right? It's about your natural role as a man, as a woman. It's about dynamics between husband and wife. It's about spiritual roles as a husband and wife. Is that correct? Like,
Yes,
it's really
yes.
about what is your design and purpose? What is God's intention for you in this big picture? And that was really messed up between the two of us.
Yeah, like you can see it in almost every relationship. I hardly know a relationship where this really in proper place. Sometimes the people settle for less, but when you want more, you see how it's broken.
Yeah.
And this is where have been.
And then what, so maybe can you just paint the scenario, like, just very roughly, on what then happened? What were we facing? Like, precisely, like, what was going on?
Like, yeah, it was so funny because it was something what was getting more and more into the front of our life, and then it ultimately flipped when you got to know another man, and I kind of also said yes that you can spend time with him, and I was so happy about that you found somebody to spend time with, and then I found you with him in the bed in the morning, bringing our small daughter. Like, this was the big turning point where you also went somehow after some days you said, okay, this is like God's grace and it's your fate, and you need to go over it. And you were asking what's the turning point?
No, I
Or
was asking what was the scenario,
the
like what
scenario.
happened that
This
time.
was the scenario.
Yeah.
Basically, this was the scenario.
I would love to add also your position of really craving other women, like you were constantly looking for other women.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this because maybe you resonate with this.
Mm.
Jacob was telling me he's not so much attracted to me anymore. Like I was pushing him away a lot.
Mm.
I was also shutting my heart down. Like I had so much desire and fantasies and
Both of us.
cravings for intimacy, for real connection, for this union and bond, but we were standing in our own ways. And at the same time we both were kind of like, you know, I was going into my fantasies, Jacob was going into his fantasies. We were both outsourcing what was actually meant to be just between the two of us.
Yes.
And that created a lot of pain. And then ultimately it led to the situation where I met this man and my feelings just went crazy. I know now in the Bible it says, don't trust your feelings, don't follow your feelings. But back then in this spirituality, new age
it was really real. And
this was like, if your heart tells you to do something, you got to go and do something.
Yeah.
So, and then this is really where I thought, okay, this is just my real husband, and this is my destiny, and I should just follow this invitation of life. Right?
Yes.
And then what was like, at some point we really separated. It was like, okay, we're done, that's it. What happened then with you? Like what was internally going on with you?
Now when you ask this, I was so fortunate that I had a lady, a mentor on my side I was working with, and she was going
for business stuff, right?
Business, spirituality, self-growth, all together. Like, and basically she was in this role on Natalie's, from Natalie's perspective, and she went through all of this, and she
like 10 years before,
and
right?
she could tell me what is happening in Natalie and what's actually going on. And so this is how I could keep up my faith in a huge way. Yeah, somehow I knew it was wrong. Yeah, but I had no, when there was nobody's like, hey, Chaka, yeah, this is actually going on in the background. She didn't say, okay, you need to fight for it, but she gave me insight towards it. So this was very important and a big.
So there was like this one person who told you, hey, this is not the truth.
Yes.
She was looking through what was going on because of her own experience.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think the first impulse, the first trigger for you to realize, okay, this is messed up. This is not the truth. This is not our real destiny and faith for our family, right?
But she was not the one who was believing in it, but she was giving me the insight. Yeah. And I was stubborn because I didn't want to have this co-parenting thing. Yeah. And thankfully fast I got really good opportunities where I could seek help. So if you're in this role where you just get to know us, yeah, where the Holy Spirit guides you to us, like really catch the fish, yeah, hit the button and have a call with us. Because this, therefore, it turned, I had resources, I had back my authority, I had back my power, the situation. I was in control of the situation.
Can you explain a little bit about that help? Like what happened? Yeah. What did they show you? What was like the main thing?
I was I had orientation in the situation. I want to finish the sentence after like 3-4 months, and I was not praying for my wife 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah. There's like time passes, and when it passes, the walls and the paths get more straightened. And so really try to act on the speed what God asks you for. And thankfully I really had a good support that way. Simply I had support how to train my masculinity. I had support very basically how to restore the polarity in our marriage. And in the like to be very honest, the main time, like the main period of this breakup, it was like all things would have been more comfortable, more convenient, more in any way better for me not to go back to that.
Up to a point where you
yeah,
almost married
yeah,
a different woman in
yes,
that
yes.
time.
Like it was like I had the choice going through hell with my family, with my daughter, and I had the choice like have a great life. Yeah, but
Seemingly, right?
seemingly,
Yeah.
yeah. Right, but that
Of course, I have to say this now, right?
our daughter was a big motivation, and also it was always, you can see like there was always some signals from Nelly. So I though she was like acting really, really, really bad, I could see that she suffers a lot, and it's not the truth, because I had this
Mm.
good, really perspective and mentorships in the background. So I was not. I was less emotionally involved and was more looking through the eyes of a loving human, yeah, and seeing, okay, it's up to me resolving this situation. But I could only stand this point because I had great people holding my back. Yeah,
And you
and
had many people, right?
yeah, I was once
Yeah.
I was counting like up to 40 people, like people I pay, people I was talking to. But even in whatever situation you are, it is not only your pastor and not only your good friend helping you out of the situation, because they might not see the situation through your eyes. And I really need to one more time speak out to these people there who I'm talking to, because I'm really blown away of the level of faith and endurance what they have. And but you don't need to suffer for years. Like you can easily shift the whole dynamic
Like,
if you
what
know
is,
how to.
if you point out the faith side, like, I believe without faith, like, you need to have a level of faith to enter this, right? But what is the other part? Like, I always talk about those two parts. What is that other part that you really need
Yeah, this is something.
besides faith,
Yeah,
besides
yeah,
prayer, besides
yeah.
trusting?
That's a very good point, because that's something where our main job lies
What
in
is it?
in our work, and also where people mainly struggle and fail. Simply say it like that, like to get inherent what it means, like to get initiated in your masculine quality, to get initiated in your female quality. And they're like very basic ways of communication, very basic ways of polarization. Yeah, you can just Google it, you can just look at YouTube, will find probably thousands of videos. But when you're in your skin, in your flesh, and of course you will have thousands of opinions, like it really counts that you're making the journey and transformation, and that you it only goes along with a commitment, I think. Yeah,
Mm.
otherwise you always just consume. You have a nice podcast, you read a nice book of how to be a biblical wife, how to be a biblical husband, but then when the situation hits, it really needs somebody who's like, hey,
So it's really
boy,
like
get your
about,
things done.
it's really about
Yeah,
like structure,
yeah,
about order, about getting to know an order
yeah,
that really serves your
yeah,
marriage and your
yeah,
relationship,
yeah,
about being, like you say, initiated. This is
yeah,
what we've experienced so much.
yeah,
I remember when you started bringing in those teachings, I didn't even know about this,
yeah,
but
me neither.
my attitude, like, my attitude was, when we saw each other, because we were, you know,
Dealing with our daughter.
dealing with our daughter, we were like, Jacob would bring her or pick her up or whatever, or we would go and have like maybe breakfast together.
Mm.
I was like, just like, leave me the F alone. I was really like, back off. I was so mean. I behaved horrible. For me, it was 100% done. I was so, my heart was so hard. And then I remember you were coming in, and just your attitude, you didn't even say anything. It was just the way you were standing as a man. I and every time I think of this, I get very wet eyes, because I remembered something inside of me was touched. I didn't even know what was going on, but I could feel how and it was many layers, and there are still layers,
Mm.
but how layers of armor, of
Mm.
walls, were just crushed in that moment just by how you were standing in that moment.
mm,
And then I remember you were starting to really implement the things you learned about the structure, the order, about how to communicate from that order, how to communicate as a husband, as a spiritual leader, from your qualities, from your innate qualities and role, and how that, I remember times where it created a lot of resistance, but I remember many times where I just could feel relief and release, and I was just like, that's what I want to feel like, that's what this is about. And that was like, that's incredible. That was incredible. Could you maybe tell us, because everybody's asking like, how did you do it, could you maybe tell us one or two things you really, like, something concrete you did in that phase?
So before I go there, I really would love you as the head of the interview
To
to watch
take
the time,
yeah.
because we always
Yes,
exceeded our
okay.
limit. Okay,
So
we come to
we'll
the
wrap
short
this
end.
up, okay? Yeah.
And just one last thing, which is really important, like if you're a man, don't make the mistake. If even if you're sure, okay, you're gonna save your marriage, this is already a huge thing, but don't make the mistake and believe it's only training and building and making your masculinity, or don't make the thing. It's like only a prayer, or like only I have new habits and I'm now super strong. It's all in all, it's a
It's like the
various
whole
mixture.
picture.
And you really should seek man who can initiate it to you, as we say, because it's always happened that way. Like, you don't get a great warrior by just watching warrior movies. You go somewhere where who is training it for you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like it's an ancient order, right?
It needs to be, and the same as a woman. And for both of them, don't try to, like, you it's impossible, you cannot do it. It's, of course, it's the Holy Spirit working through both of you, but you need to do your part. Like David, you need to take the swing and run towards Goliath. Slingshot and run towards Goliath. And for women, it's totally different. And that's why it seems like more complicated, but it's actually very, very beautiful. But for you, it's not like taking the responsibility. It's like, as Nelly said, for you, it's like soften your heart. But how to soften your heart in that difficult situation?
I want one or two concrete things before we need to wrap this up. Okay, can you tell us one or two concrete things you did?
Like the most concrete things, what you just can do and implement. Like, you have a clear vision as a man. You have a clear vision for your relationship, for your future. So it's not vague. It's not like, oh, maybe if she and if she not. No, you have a clear vision. That's it. Go. Okay, that's. And
so clear vision for yourself and your family, right?
And for a woman, it's like, you stop leading, you stop controlling, you stop complaining, you stop being the victim, you start taking responsibility for your feelings, you start taking responsibility for your needs. Really, you need to take responsibility for them and express them vulnerably, and not like he's not doing his part, but you need to be really in place. Vision for the man, get connected to your feelings, really, instead of acting nice and hopefully and lovingly and perhaps you will meet me someday. No, you need to take responsibility to your feelings, and it really, if it's crushes and if it's sad and if it's desperation, take responsibility towards it and communicate it to your partner.
And then what happened after? Like, okay, you got like help, you got support, you were initiated into what does it mean to be a man, a husband, a father. What is your role? How to communicate? How to lead? How to serve as a husband? And then you started implementing those things. But it took a while. Like, I think it was a
2-year, 3-year,
almost 2-year journey to really until we were really, really back together, fully and whole and healed. What happened after this? Like, when you took responsibility, what happened then?
Well, I'm so thankful now, like, to make it very short. I found my own perspective, things which was not working, and now with Christ, I found even more own perspective. And therefore, I'm so happy to talk about this and give you this all over wholesome picture, because it really released a lot of mistakes you could do on the journey. and it was a hop on, hop off. And still nowadays, we are very much reminded to stick to these principles
yeah.
because we go on a different level in our relationship with this enterprise.
But
And
also we notice like when we don't do it, how it's like
yeah,
how it gets like kind of shaky and just
but the fundament is there within both of us, so there's nothing else to worry about anymore. But
what is the thing that changed for you the most from before and after?
like it's just a very recent thing with in Christ, that I really honestly love my wife full-heartedly and don't believe any lies from the enemy. Yeah. Even with polarity, you could see that's not
The full picture.
yeah. And that's why it's very important to also see the spiritual aspect and not only the 3D world communication polarity aspect. Phallus and how do you say it? Like man, woman,
Penis and vagina.
Venus and vagina. I don't know if you're allowed to say this on YouTube. Like these principles are great, but we are more than that, and this is important. Therefore, watch these videos. Check out our content.
What I want to share from my perspective, what really changed in that whole journey is I had those moments where I remembered, also because of my upbringing. I also share this a lot on Instagram, and I always had those doubts about our relationship. From the beginning on, I knew this was my husband. I knew this was him. But at the same time, I was so afraid to fully open, to fully commit, to fully submit. And I would still just hold on to some kind of safety rope to not just fully go into with all my love and all my heart and all my body and all my everything. And this is what I noticed most, even in times where I feel like I'm rooted in this is my husband. Before, I was always like, okay, if this is like this, I'm gonna leave. I would always, my mind would just always take me to like the exit. And now what I notice so much is to know, even in hard times, you are my husband, and there's no doubt about this. And this for me personally, in my body, this just feels incredible to know, okay, I can give myself fully into this. I'm fully in this marriage. I'm fully in this family. I'm fully in this covenant. I'm fully in this vision for our lives. And that's just very brings a lot of peace.
Good to know.
Yes.
So
beautiful.
You say now the one next clear step, and I
like
say
we said,
goodbye.
we support and we guide people like you on this journey. You don't have to do this on your own. I'm telling you, get support wherever you can. You don't need to do this with us, but like Jakob also said, you need support for that journey. And what I can tell you here with us, you have both female and male perspective, which I think is just genius that God is putting us here for you. And also we bring in the whole picture. It's not just earthly strategies. It's not just prayer. It's really bringing everything together. It's the intimacy aspect. It's the family aspect. It's everything that you really need to see and experience changes in your life. And if you want that, then just reach out to us, either comment here, or you will have a link where you can actually book directly into our calendar for a conversation. We really want to talk to you. We want to know what is your exact situation and see from there if we can truly help you. And then you can make a decision if this is for you. Okay? God bless you and your path you're on. I want to speak words of encouragement and blessings over you in Jesus Christ's name. What you are doing here is incredible. The consequences for yourself and your family and your bloodline are beyond what you can think of right now. And keep going. I know it's hard. I know it's straining and it's painful, but keep going. God bless you. Bye-bye. See you next week. Now, where's the end? Oh, here it is. Bye-bye.